Now, it's good to have you once again. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome back.
As we watch these proceedings in the Senate in Brazil, it is quite hard to fathom how this has turned into a little bit of a circus. They've been in the chamber for hours, and yet there has still been no vote. It seems that every senator wants to take their minute to say their piece.
Of course, remember that there will be elections in 2018. Regardless of the outcome right now, the Roussef government is done. And so they will either kick her out right now, which is likely to happen, and spend the next 18 months figuring out whether or not she actually broke the law. Not accusations of corruption, but actually covering up deficits. And then they will have the vice president in power for these 18 months, plus the remainder of the term.
So technically what we're looking at here, if they vote to begin these impeachment proceedings, which we think is obviously a pretty sure bet at this point, then Dilma Roussef is removed from her position for 180 days.
Precisely.
And then they have the hearing. Technically, if she is found not guilty by a two-thirds vote of Parliament in that hearing, you're saying even though technically and legally she should be allowed to return as president, she won't.
Well, if you have your quote-unquote worst enemy, and thank you for the precision of the 180 days,
yes.
It's going to be very hard for her to, the courts did two things in the last 2 months. One today, which has prevented her from her last step to avoid the impeachment.
Yeah.
So her attorney general tried to request an annulment of the process. That didn't work. And the strongman that could have saved her and gather political support around her, Lula, was prevented as well from holding office.
Lula da Silva, the former president.
Yeah, precisely. So she is very much in the same case of Maduro, without charisma, without resources to continue funneling to their supporters. And remember, Brazil has abated poverty over the last 15 years, but the corruption scandal of Petrobras has touched everyone. Only 1/5 of the members of her party are accused in this scandal. The larger share of the people accused are in the other parties.
In the opposition.
But the opposition, everyone is blaming her and the Workers' Party. So all the quote unquote allies have moved out, including the coalition party that is headed by the current vice president, who will inherit power if she's moved out.
Let's talk about the current vice president. He inherits power, as that is the expectation. Is he the man to steer Brazil through this economic crisis?
Well, the economic crisis responds to the price of oil. It increased today to 46. It's in an upward trend. Maybe he'll have global context that will help him, but for sure he will be. The argument is covering up all the accusations for all the power wielders in Brazil, because remember, they have a long history of impunity.
Never the crime, but the cover-up. Roussef supporters say this is an attack on democracy, but isn't this how democracies work? No one is immune from the law, not even the president.
Well, the people are even calling for a military. Remember that Brazil was a dictatorship until not very long ago. It's a kind of an emergent democracy, or in a reloaded version. And so, the current establishment, that is the workers, the left, have been in power for 4 administrations. The right has very avidly used this discontent that started, I should say, with the austerity programs and the increase in bus fares in 2013, and that has moved in a different direction. The catalyst was precisely the Petrobras scandal.
Toby, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you so much. A long night ahead.
Especially for the people in Brasilia.
Thank you.